Hello, everyone, and welcome to Where is Zur, the show where we find Zur and we look at his inventory together. I'm Ty Guy Travis, and today you can find Zur once again in the EDZ. He's over here in the Winding Cove, hanging out on a cliff. Let's go and pay him a visit. All right, so once you touch down in the EDZ, go ahead and hop on your Sparrow, immediately take a right, and go through a cave to find Zur. If you don't know this path yet, then I don't know what to say. I've been doing this for months now, maybe years, and he's always in the same place. All right, here we go. Here he is. This is Zur, guys. All right, so let's go and see what he's got in store.
I bring gifts of the nine.
All right, so first up, he's got Prometheus Lens. This is a trace rifle. You guys may remember it from Laser Tag Weekend. It's quite a fun gun to have in your inventory if you don't. We've got the Dragon Shadow. This is the only high-ish stat roll we got this week. Mobility is a little too high for my liking, but you cannot deny that discipline is delicious. So it might be good for certain builds. It's also just a good exotic in general for hunters. So not a bad roll. Then we've got the MK.44 Stand Asides for Titans. This is a pretty bad roll for exotics. Its stat total is very low, and it's also got 16 mobility, which I would never want on my Titan. So probably a skip, although this is, generally speaking, a good exotic. That said, they did debuff, they nerfed shoulder charging on Titans, so I don't know, I haven't tried this more recently, but my guess is that it's probably not as good as it once was. And then we finally got Felwinter's Helm. This is a good Warlock exotic, generally speaking, but the roll is not great. 62 is very low for a stat total for exotics. It's got 9 mobility. Yeah, highest strength, which is okay. I generally like higher discipline than that, and that's as low as it gets. So not a great roll in general. And with that, let's move on to legendary weapons. He's got a lot of sidearms this week, which is kind of interesting. So we're going to be looking at a lot of those. First up, Vulpecula with Encore and Harmony. Definitely a skip for me. Not very synergistic. Enigma's Draw, one of the many sidearms he's got this week. Zen Moment is one of my favorites on sidearms, but Elemental Capacitor is not, so that ends up being just okay. Thoughtless with Perpetual Motion and Snapshot Sights is a hard pass for me. I do not like... Snapshot Sights can be good in PvP, but Perpetual Motion is not. So, yeah, not a lot of synergy there. Judgment of Kelgorath. This is probably my pick of the week. As you know, if you play Destiny, glaives are very close-range weapons, or they end up being that way since you can also melee with them. Surrounded is one of the best perks you could hope for in that. And Demolitionist is good as you are likely to be throwing grenades at your feet and doing some fun stuff with close quarters combat with this. So I think this could end up having a lot of synergy. It's also got shield duration as its masterwork, and I love using the shield to block stuff. So this could end up being a pretty good roll, and I think it's probably the best thing that Zur is selling this week. Then we've got Brigand's Law. Sympathetic Arsenal I hate. Threat Detector is okay, but, it's a sidearm, and that's probably a pass for me. Shattered Cipher with Heating Up and Adrenaline Junkie. It's interesting. I like Heating Up. Adrenaline Junkie I don't typically like, especially since it requires you to stop holding down the trigger with the machine gun to throw a grenade, which kind of undoes the entire purpose of the Heating Up perk. So probably not great. And then finally, Lonesome with Zen Moment and Slide Shot. Of all the many sidearms we got this week, this is probably the best one. Zen Moment is a pretty good perk for sidearms. Slide Shot, not typically my favorite, but who knows? I actually think this might be worth checking out. So yeah, maybe worth a shot. And that is it for legendary weapons. For legendary armor, actually, you know what? Let's do exotics real quick. Hawkmoon and Deadman's Tail. Hawkmoon and Deadman's Tail this week. Neither of them are very good. We got Killing Wind and what was it? Alloy Mag on this, which, those are okay, but it's not a god roll for Hawkmoon. And the Deadman's Tail, no Vorpals. We did get armor piercing rounds, which is nice, but moving target doesn't really do a lot for me. So kind of just mid rolls compared to the rolls we've been getting lately. Those aren't very good. And then finally, he's got armor. We're just going to talk about the Warlock armor because everyone else got snubbed. Not great rolls pretty much across the board. Warlocks, however, they've got two 63s and a 64, which is the highest we got this week. The two 63s have incredibly high mobility. One of them's got high discipline, which is cool, but the gloves is 16 mobility and nothing else gets that high. This one is a little bit better, but not much. The thing I like about this one is it's got two spiky slots, resilience and discipline. So if you're doing something specific with those, this could be good. But with 10 mobility, I don't really see a good use case for that. And so definitely not a god roll. And then finally, the best one we got this week is 64. In terms of stat totals, it was the best we got. But its distribution is also very funky. 12 mobility, 14 resilience, 15 discipline, and then everything else is sub 10. That's not really anything I get super excited about, so kind of disappointed in this one this week. And then we've got the Sovereign Legs over here at 59, which is kind of the status quo for what the other classes got. Not a lot to work with this week. So kind of an underwhelming week for Xur overall. Check out Kel Gorath. If you're a hunter, the Dragon Shadow is a pretty decent roll. Maybe this Lonesome Sidearm if you're into that sort of thing. But everything else is pretty mid and not anything I get super excited about. So that is it for Xur this week, guys. Hopefully this was useful for some of you guys. I hope everybody's having fun in Guardian games. Go Titans. And for everything else related to Destiny and Xur, stick with IGN.